Who is the Ducks' most improved player, the biggest surprise, or the most reliable? Find out on this episode of Locked On Anaheim Ducks.
You're Locked On Ducks, your daily podcast on the Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome. Thanks for making Locked On Anaheim Ducks your first listen every day. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Kyle Carr. I'm a lifelong Anaheim Ducks fan, and I've spent multiple years covering collegiate sports, including college hockey. But today we're talking Anaheim Ducks. The season is over, and it's time to give out some Locked On awards. We're going to give out the most improved, the biggest surprise, and the most reliable today. So I know the anticipation is getting to you. Who in the world is the winners of these awards? So let's dive right on into that. First off, the most improved player of the year for Anaheim. The award goes to, drumroll please, Cutter Gauthier. He is the winner. Come on down, Cutter. Come and grab your award real quick. But yeah, I give him the most improved player of the season. He did have a slow start in regards to getting on the score sheet and getting goals and assists. He was blanketed for a few games there, but once he started going in, he was engaged every game, regardless of the scoring, and he continued to prosper throughout the season. And by most improved, I mean from day one of the season to game 82 of the season. This is a player who just completely kept building and growing their game as time progresses. And it was his rookie season, and he did completely well for the Ducks this year, moving all the way up to the top line by the end of the season. His confidence level just continued to grow. You could see he was getting more comfortable with the NHL level of play, the pace of play, his speed, and the confidence in his own feet and moving the puck definitely increased as time went on. And I just really enjoyed watching this young player really blossom in this season. He is his season endings totals of the year was 20 goals, 24 assists, and a total of 44 points. He is in fourth for the Ducks all-time highest goals scored in their rookie season. He's just behind Bobby Ryan at the top, Dustin Penner in second, and Trevor Zegras right in front of him with just one more goal above him. This was his first full season, as I've discussed in previous episodes. He was one of three skaters to play all 82 games this year. So for your first season in the NHL and going out there playing all 82 games, that is just outstanding from his character, from his health, everything. That's a lot of games to play and to be out there. You never know what the injury bugs might come or how things turn out. And for him to make all 82 games in his first full season is just a statement on this player's character. He was a +8, 2 power play goals, 3 game-winning goals, and 2 were in OT. Having a plus minus, I know not a lot of people really enjoy the plus minus category, but it's there. It can show how well a player is doing offensively versus defensively, and he's a +8. He was creating a lot of offense, especially towards the end of the season, and he had 3 game-winning goals, 2 of which were in OT. So he's there. He's in the moment. He's making a change out there for Anaheim, and to have 3 game-winning goals and 2 in OT is pretty outstanding for a rookie. That means the coach trusts him. He's putting him out there in those tie-breaking moments, and he is capitalizing. He only had 20 penalty minutes in the entire season. Like a lot of rookies, they come out and they're undisciplined. They take frustration penalties. 20 minutes, that's either he took 10 penalties the entire season or he had a fight. And I didn't look at the breakdown of how the penalties looked out for him, but only 20 is not a bad number for an entire 82 game season. He did rack up 68 hits. He started playing a much more physical game on the forecheck, especially when he started going out uh, with Leo Carlson there. When he was down, he played a little bit with Trevor Zegras in some games and Mason McTavish. He played physical then. He was really just a solid body out on the ice and played well. His angles are great. He was really good at cutting down the defense and would back check really well. So I just consistently kept showing a great 200-foot game the entire year. And especially as it went on, he just kept getting better and better and better. He had 22 takeaways and 51 blocked shots. And his average this year of ice time was just over 14 minutes a game. And it definitely increased. The last month of April saw his highest play time average out of all the months. So he kept going up and up with his play time, and just that shows, the more Cronin started to trust him, the more his confidence grew, the more he was out on the ice. And it definitely helped when he finally went up to that top line with Carlson and Killorn. Definitely makes a difference playing with him. The two of them just really seemed to connect, and you could just see his prowess almost take a little notch up when he has Carlson. He knows he has someone like him out there on the ice with him, and Killorn's a good, solid, reliable guy. He shuts down things on the forecheck. So just to see that step towards the end of the season is the wear on the body starts to kick in. It's your 40 plus games ahead of what you're used to playing in a season. You're out every single week, consistently playing, and he just kept going and he kept stepping it up. He didn't have a single goal in October, and then he had 3 in November, 2 in December, 3 in January, 4 in February, 3 in March, and 5 in April. So you see that steady improvement of scoring as the year progressed. Little back and forth there in the middle, but he ended the year with his most goals and only probably the least amount of games in April out of all the months, and that saw him with 5 goals. He was slightly better on the road, but only slightly. He was really solid, honestly, at both home and away games. He had 10 goals at home and 10 goals away, so 50-50 there. 21 points at home and 22 points on the road. And then just looking at all of his categories, they were just a little bit more on the road. So, the nerves of being in front of the home crowd get to younger players, and probably squeezing the stick a little bit more. He had more of his penalties at home, but that happens. He did have the most points in March with 13 out of 15 games, whereas in January, the only other month that had 15 games, he only had 4. So just to see that number of improvement, it goes to show how much more he started to really step up in the second half of the season. And he played well in important games. He really showed up against division opponents and even the Central opponents. He had most of his points against the Central and the Pacific. His highest points were against Pacific Division teams. He scored 9 of his goals against the Pacific teams. So he definitely liked playing against division rivals and knew that's when it's time to step up. He scored the most goals against Detroit this year and Edmonton with 3 against each. He had the most points scored against Edmonton with 7 against, and he enjoyed watching his honestly, I just enjoyed watching his confidence flourish and his ability to make a difference in games, and especially after teaming up with Carlson. I know I keep saying that, but it was such a big difference when he finally came over and was playing with Carlson up on the top line. You could just see that next step just kind of got unleashed in his play, his speed, his confidence. He started calling for the pucks more. He was taking over plays and taking over in the defensive zone, neutral zone. There's just a lot more pep in his step once he got put up on that top line. And that's why he was the most improved player of this season as it progressed. Absolutely great job this year, Cutter Gauthier. Congratulations. the most improved player of the year. Come and get your award. I'll have it here for you, print it off. Next up, we're going to go into who the biggest surprise skater of the season was. And I'm pretty sure you have an inkling of who that just might be. The NBA playoffs are almost here, and FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action. Right now, when you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you'll get $250 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Honestly, that's such a crazy deal. $5 bet can lead to $250 in bonus bets. And there's so many things that you can put those $5 on, from tip offs to assists to 3-pointers, and then player props. You can do parlays. There's so many different things that you can do with FanDuel. So go put those $5 down and get your $250 in bonus bets. Don't miss out. Head to fanduel.com and claim your $250 in bonus bets today. And now for the next award. This is the surprising player of the season, the most surprised, the biggest surprise, the who is this guy award. And that award goes to, drumroll please, Jackson LaCombe, the defenseman. This young man had a wonderful, wonderful showing this year. Almost thought he was going to break a few records there as he continued to score and progress, especially after the freeway faceoff. He came alive in the offensive category, but he was a solid defenseman the entire season as well. Just to take a little look of comparison from last season to this season and why it was such a surprise at how he performed. Last season, he played 71 games and he had 2 goals, 15 assists, a total of 17 points. He was minus 24, had 55 shots with a 3.6 shot percentage, and his average ice time was 19 minutes and 23 seconds. And now, coming into this season, the difference is stark, whatever the heck that word is. This season, LaCombe played 75 games, so only 4 more games than last year, and he had 14 goals, 29 assists, and a total of 43 points. He was 0 across the board in the plus-minus category. He took 134 shots with a 10.4 shot percentage, and he had an average of 22 minutes and 18 seconds of playtime on average a game. So completely a much higher level of trust in his game by the coaching staff, and it showed in his numbers. He was always there, playing a very shutdown game on the top pair with Radko Gudas. And sometimes he definitely needed to step up a little extra as Radko goes for that blazing hip check and misses his mark. That's up to LaCombe to kind of make up for that and catch up on the play. And he did it a lot this season. Coincidentally, though, he had the same amount of blocks last year and this year. He had 129 block shots in both seasons. Kind of a interesting fact there. Also, he's pretty even, whether it was home or away this year. He was 22 points at home and 22 points on the road. And so not too much of a difference there. And again, across the board, his stats were fairly even, whether it was shots or hits, all that. Most of it was balanced throughout, whether home or away. He just plays a very solid, structured game. This year, he played his best against Edmonton. It seemed like everyone played their best against Edmonton this year. The Ducks were the Oilers' kryptonite this year for sure. And he against Edmonton, he had a +6 rating and he had 5 points against them. And both those categories were his highest for against Edmonton. Like, if you look at all of his games played, all the teams that they played against, he was highest in his plus rating against Edmonton and his points against Edmonton. So he just he likes playing against those Oilers. Connor McDavid did not dissuade him. He was amped up to play against the top players out there in Edmonton, oil country. His highest ice time was against the Sharks on April 1st. He played 31 minutes and 4 seconds. That's more than half of the game. He was out on the ice, shutting it down. Very good performance for him on that game. And there are only 7 defensemen in Ducks history that have scored more points in a season than Jackson Lacombe. Granted, these guys have kind of been on the list a few times. If you look at the records list, he's down at 17th, but there are only 7 total players in Ducks history that have more points than him as a defenseman in a season. And these names, you may or may not have heard of them before. We've got Scott Niedermayer, Lubomir Wisnowski, Chris Pronger, Frederick Olason, Oleg Tverdovsky, it's so hard to say that Russian. Oleg Tverdovsky. I was like 6 years old when he was playing. Cam Fowler and Dmitry Mironov. So to have that company right there is absolutely amazing. Love to see the young player that he is. He's only 2 seasons in, and he's already on this amazing list of defensemen that have played for Anaheim, and it's only going to go up from there. He is also 7th in the longest point streaks as a defenseman in Ducks history with 6 game point streaks. So not points, but 6 games he was getting points as a defenseman. 3 of the players ahead of him are tied at 7, and 2 are tied at 8. So he's basically in 3rd place, if you will. He had 2 6-game point streaks this season as well. So one of them has him at 7th, and one of them has him down there at 11th, I think it was. But 2 streaks. The first one, February 22nd to March 4th, and then another one, March 20th to April 1st. It was so, if he had kept it going, I think it was like one game that splits up that time, 1 or 2 games, and he was on a tear, just absolutely lighting it up. Imagine if he had a 12-game streak there, if he continued to go on, that could have been 13, 14 games that he had points in. The level of dominant play, though, for Jackson is what really surprised me. I mean, there was definitely flashes in the pan last season. You could kind of see how he was when it came to his play. His takeaways were there. He wasn't really giving the puck up much. But he was a younger guy. It wasn't an offensive season for him last season. But this year, the way he shows up, the way he comes through in big moments, and he's just such a calm player back there. And the way he angles off players, his ability to just line dudes up and go into the corners, and it's like he's always seems to come out with the puck. Like his breakout percentage was amazing this year. He would just completely turn things around for the Ducks this year and creating offensive chances off the rush because of his breakout ability. It was just a really, really great year to watch. And honestly, he caught me completely off guard this year. I did not expect that out of him. And now to see Cam Fowler move on to bigger and better things out there in St. Louis, you're kind of worried, oh no, who's going to take that spot? Well, Jackson Lacombe was not deterred to take that at all. He stepped up to the task, and there are just that many more younger guys in the defensive core as well. So there's a lot of good hope. Anaheim is just pumped with defensemen and young defensemen, and for Jackson to lead the charge there with that group can only just amount to so much more in the next season. I mean, Pat Verbeek continues to say there's another level to this player's game, and to see what he had this year and to be told, oh, though, there's another level. This guy is going to get completely up. I see him as being a Norris candidate soon. So I'm just so looking forward to next season. I'm already getting impatient. I would like it to be next October so we could just start to see how he takes off at the beginning of the year. But, I can't have everything that I want, and we got to endure this off season and sit out the playoffs for this year. But someone that has been in the playoffs and has gone deep. This guy, he is the most reliable award, and we'll get to that right after this. Did you know that your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe or sign in to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to play. Dive into hundreds of premium titles from EA Sports College Football 25 to Call of Duty Black Ops 6 and Avowed. As easily as you stream your favorite shows, it's gaming made simple, and it's all on your Fire TV. Honestly, they have the latest technology for elevated playing with Wi-Fi 6, 6E, and auto low latency mode, advanced technology. Fire TV Stick 4K delivers smoother, more responsive gameplay with lightning fast speeds. You need to stay competitive. I am so stoked that you can do this now with the Fire TV Stick 4K, as I am a massive gamer. I love playing on the Xbox, and they didn't mention it earlier, but NHL 25, obviously part of the EA Play. Love playing some Chell, and now I can do it anywhere I go on the road. Just got to take my 4K TV stick with me and then get a controller. No lugging a big console anymore. No trying to, oh no, I don't want to break this in the airplane. Just take up a controller and your Amazon Fire TV Stick 4K, and you're good to go. So head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K, second gen, Fire TV Stick 4K Max, first and second gen, and Fire TV Cube, third gen. And now the last award of this episode. I kind of hinted at it by saying that this person has been very accustomed to the postseason and has gone fairly far in it. This man, the most reliable player this season, drum roll please, Alex Killorn, come on down, pick up your award. You're the man, the most reliable guy on the season this year. He was 35 years old, and he was also one of the players to play all 82 games for the Ducks this season. 35 years old. That's exactly how old I am, and I'm definitely not playing 82 games of NHL hockey. I can tell you that right now. He was a steady producer all season. He had Carlson and Zegras for most of the season, and then Gauthier came up and swapped with Zegras. He continued to feed and play extremely well with the young forwards out there. He had 19 goals this year. He would have been the sixth skater to get to 20 if he could have gotten one more. And that would have been a record for Anaheim, as this year they tied the most 20 goal scorers on a single season with 5. The last time that happened was way back with Paul Correa and Teemu Selanne on the team. So really awesome to see. At least there was a good chunk of skaters making it and making offensive changes in their play and getting on the score sheet. And Alex Killorn was right there to help in the mix. 19 goals, 18 assists, a total of 37 points. Just not his best year, but a very solid and reliable season for him. He was plus 12 on the season. He actually led the entire team in the plus minus category. And it's not a lot of scoring is happening when he's out there. He played really, really well with that top line. Carlson and him get along extremely well. As you can see, they played so well. And he's just kind of that mentor for the younger guys. He was absolutely involved on the forecheck all the time. A very, very, very physical body, big guy out there. And he shut stuff down. Like he knows how to play well in the defensive zone. He knows how to transition well, and he was always engaged with the forecheck and helping things happen. So completely solid performance by Killorn this year. He did get one of 3 Anaheim shorthanded goals this year, so kudos to you on that one, Alex. And he actually got the assist for Carlson's shorthanded goal. So, little shorty love there for him this year, and that just goes to show as well that he's out there on the PK, shutting it down. And granted, the PK wasn't the best this year, but when he does go out there, he helps keep it down to a minimum at least. He did have 5 game-winning goals, one of which came in OT. I was at that game actually, and it was so awesome. Like, talk about a guy that when he does score, and especially if it's a game winner or an overtime winner, his elation from when he scores, like he just has like this like monster, just like you can just see he's so excited to score. It's like a young kid out there again, and that energy that he brings from that, like one of my favorite sellies on the team, just that complete exertion of like, yes, I did it. Like, you gotta love it, gotta love it. He has a little up there in PIMS this year. He had 30 penalty minutes, so not the most disciplined, but it happens. He's had much less. He's had higher PIMS in his career, so it wasn't too bad. He had 77 hits this year and 23 blocks and 11 takeaways. Pretty solid there. His average ice time was 17 minutes and 17 seconds. One of the top leaders of forwards in ice time. And unfortunately, though, this was a career high in giveaways for him, as he had 62 this year. I think the highest closest to that was like in the 40s. So unfortunate there with the giveaways this year. That was kind of the Achilles heel of Anaheim this year, were the giveaways. And I think a bit of that comes down to the lack of, not really structure, but the lack of a solid game plan and not utilizing the rush type offense that Anaheim started to use towards the end of the year. But that's, for another time. He did thrive in with the home crowd. It's like I said, I was at the games when he's gotten a couple of game winners. You could just see his energy. He loves playing in Anaheim. He even mentioned on this show that Anaheim is the best place to play in the NHL. We've got the top location in the league. Love to hear that from a veteran, especially someone who was out in Tampa Bay and had won a Stanley Cup, but getting told, hey, Anaheim, best place in the league. He loves it. Absolutely loves it out here. He had 20 points at home and was a +8. So that just goes to show just how much more he likes to shut it down when he's here. The team he played best against this year was the Penguins. He scored 3 goals against them this year. And like I've said this whole time, he is so good at keeping the young forwards on his line in check, keeping them humble, keeping them real, keeping them in the moment. And he provides that big body on the forecheck. You could see him engaged on the bench with the guys and giving them that advice, and that veteran presence that he has is really, really good for this team. There was only 2 games this season that he really struggled in. The only 2 games he was -3, a couple -2s, -1s there, but these were the only 2 games that he was a -3 in, and that was against the Capitals on March 11th. But everyone on the Ducks struggled that game. That was not a pretty game. Unfortunately, I was also at that game, and I wanted to rip my hair out. The other game that he struggled against was the Flyers on December 28th, and he was on the ice for all 3 of the Flyers' goals. Anaheim lost that one 3-1. So a little bit unfortunate there. But like I said, from beginning of the season to end of the season, this guy was completely reliable for the Ducks. He continued to provide steady offense with the forwards on that first line. He was a good body out there to help balance out Leo's speed and Cutter Gauthier's speed once he came up on the line, and Zegras' playmaking abilities. He was always in the right spot at the right time, it seemed like, especially in the offensive zone. had his defensive breakdowns here and there, but overall, he does play a solid 200-foot game and continue to be consistent and reliable throughout the entire season. So, Alex Killorn, congratulations, the most reliable player of the year. That is your Locked On award this year. We got a couple more things that we can talk about coming up in the next few days as the season is over for Anaheim. If you have any type of conversations that you would like to hear, comment, message me, tell me what do you want to hear about. And when it comes to the postseason, off-season experience for Anaheim coming up and what to expect in the draft and free agency, any type of topic that you've got in mind, let me know and we'll try to break it down and see what we can get out of us. And this is the time of the hypotheticals. So everything is open now. Any type of move you want to talk about, maybe the Ducks will go and pick up some crazy players who, like maybe Tage Thompson out in Buffalo wants to come and get some sunshine or something. I don't know. The world is ours now that we've got the off season coming up, and I'm sure there's something fun that you guys can come up with, and we'll dive into it. So thank you again for making Locked On Anaheim Ducks your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On NHL Game Night. Every game, every night until a Stanley Cup champion is crowned. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find NHL Game Night on Locked On NHL on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Share, like, subscribe. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel. And again, I'm Kyle Carr. Be good out there.